All right, so here's the Honda oil filter. This came out of the Civic after about 6,000 kilometers. As you can see, it's the made in the USA one. So I believe this is a Honeywell filter, even though I think maybe there's a batch that Fram has made for Honda. I just have a old shirt so that, you know, if any of the oil comes out, that's not a really big deal. And I have a pair of vice grips. So basically this gasket right here just comes right off. You guys probably seen me do this once before, but I wanted to do it again just to show you guys how exactly you take off the top part with just a pair of vice grips. So here is the rubber gasket. All right, and this is a bit of a close-up of what this top part looks like. And basically, all you need is the vice grips. And basically, I'm just gonna crimp on to the edge and pull, all right? So have it relatively tight. Let me see how long this takes. I might edit it a little bit so that you guys are not watching me fumble around with this. So basically now I have this obviously tight on the edge, right? So all you have to do, you don't even have to have that much strength to do this, but basically you're just cracking it open like that, okay? So as you can see that there's a bit of a crimp there. As you guys know, if you have a pair of tin snips, right, it will do the trick, right? But let's say if you don't have a pair of tin snips like me, I just don't have that type of tool, then you just basically just use a pair of vice grips and basically just go all the way around. And make sure you do wear gloves, right? And because you're doing this, there's a chance that you might get cut by the sharp metal, right? So it is possible. So, you know, for the ones that you know, just the heat of caution there, right? And I might have to loosen the vice grips a little bit. Maybe I have it a little bit too tight. So I guess you can see that's basically released already. Okay. So I'm gonna go all the way around. My hand's a little bit oily, a little slippery too. So just keep going all the way around. As you can see, I've already gotten halfway, right? And just so you guys know, this particular Honda filter is the same one that fits in all of Honda's latest cars. That includes the MDX, that includes the Honda Pilots, the J Series V6s, your Honda Type R uses the same oil filter, the 2-liter turbo. The Accords use the same filter. The new CRVs use the same oil filter. So this one oil filter is the same for all of it. All of Honda's latest cars, except the S2000, but then, you know, the S2000 is not a new car, right? So that oil filter is different. And yeah, which is very interesting anyways, to say the least. This one oil filter fits them all. And I'm gonna rip this apart. This is the made in USA one. There's another version that is made in Japan, right? So that one is gonna be a little bit different, obviously, because it's made by a different company in Japan. And I believe I have that filter made in Japan that is in the CRV right now. So when I change it, believe it or not, I'm actually pretty close to needing to change it, right? So I'm gonna change it shortly and take that filter apart, and maybe I'll keep some of these parts and put them side by side to compare and see what the difference between the made in USA and made in Japan one is like. And which ones that you should buy. I believe they both have, maybe I won't spoil it, but yeah, I mean, not a big deal. You're gonna see it shortly, anyways. And it is a full cardboard paper element, including the cardboard, including the end caps, so like the ends of the filter, right? So I don't know. I mean, a lot of the mechanics say that it doesn't really matter if it's a cardboard end cap, but I don't know. Are you guys comfortable with, a cardboard end cap filter on your Type R? I mean, I have it in my CRV, and it's not as if I race in it anyways. It's not really a big deal. But they do recommend, maintenance on these cars up to like 10,000 kilometers, maybe even 15,000 kilometers, right? So do you guys trust this filter in your car for 15,000 kilometers through, a season of cold, a season of hot, rainy, snowing, whatever, right? So at this point, you see, you're basically just gonna pry it up, right? So let me see if I have any spots that it didn't get done. All right, this is probably still hanging on this part of it. Tighten up my vice grips again, and my hands are a little bit slippery because I have some, these gloves and the oil is sort of making it slippery. But that's pretty much it. And all you have to do is just pry it open at this point. So it is a bit of a pain, but regardless, shouldn't be too bad. All right, finally. So basically you just have to pry it up. Anyways, it was a little bit easier the first time I did this, but anyways, regardless, I did get it to come off. And here's the top section. Anti-drain back valve, which is a type of silicone. And then you have your filter. All right, so take a good look at that before I pull it out. Sometimes it's a little bit of a challenge to pull it out, but I didn't really damage the can too much. So you see this oil in here? I'm gonna pour it in my measuring, or the bucket basically. Later, there's a few ounces, 1 ounce in there. Here's the valve here, spring loaded. Okay, so I'm gonna keep all these parts and just show you guys what the difference is between this one and the Baldwin filter, and then the Japanese made in Japan one, right? So here's the filter element. Like I said, I think this is a Honeywell filter or a Fram filter. Just let me give you a little quick wipe here. As you can see, I'm wearing my mechanics gloves just in case. Gives me a little bit more protection, and then have some nitrile gloves on the underneath too, just in case I get some of these shards into my gloves. At least it'll cut the gloves first before my skin, right? So if you guys try this, just make sure you take all safety precautions, or better yet, don't try it, because it is possible these sharp edges will cut you, right? So here is the filter element. It's a few little pieces of dirt or whatever it is, but anyways, so you see these. So I'm gonna keep these things anyway, but you could take a look at the filter. The core is a punched core, you see that? So you could probably just cut it open, but the idea right now is I wanted to show you guys these caps right here. That's paper, or I guess a type of cardboard, a pressed cardboard, right? And the element is also paper. As you know, you can buy synthetic element, right? So I just basically cracked it in half, okay? And here is, so I will keep this core as well to compare that to the next filter I open up, which is probably going to be the Japanese Honda made filter. So I'm going to keep that one too. And this one I'm not going to keep, but I do want to show you. See that? All right. So this whole thing is actually paper. You see this paper fiber? Yeah, I mean, this goes into your engine, and it's supposed to filter through, the oil is supposed to flow through this, right, for 6 months to a year. If you go by Honda maintenance schedule, it might be up to a year depending on how much you drive, right? So this really isn't a long-term solution. Like if you leave it in your engine for 10,000, 15,000 kilometers, that I don't know, it's just, to me, that doesn't look very good. Like, is not very strong. But then again, I guess, paper's always been used for filtering element for a long time. So that's the argument, I guess, right? But anyways, you guys be the judge. Typically, most filters, this part is actually metal. This part's metal. The seam, as you can see, there's a pressed seam here. This seam is metal, which is good, is where the pleats are folded, and then this is the joining mechanism, which is a metal crimped seam, which is good because, so you can see that's a metal crimped seam. And metal is good because then it's pretty heat resistant, right? Heat resistant, water resistant. If let's say there's a bit of condensation in your engine, it is possible to get water in your engine, right? That's why sometimes you guys see milkshake oil caps and whatnot, right? So when water gets in here, it may eat this element, and then basically that can break down, right? So that's why they started using synthetic elements, which is synthetic fibers instead of paper fibers. So paper fibers. This is pretty thick though. With that said, this element seems pretty thick, right? So yeah, I just wanted to show you guys this, and get what do you guys think, right? Let me know. I'm not a tech, like I'm a bit of a mechanic by trade, but I'm not an engineer, right? So yeah, you guys tell me, right, what you guys think of this type of filter. And if, let's say, you can get another filter, like these Baldwin filters, I'm just gonna grab the Baldwin filter. It is B1402, and I got it on Amazon on sale right now for a pretty good price. It was like $13 Canadian, which is pretty good. I bought this filter I bought the Japanese Honda filter from the dealership for, I think it was $16 or $15 around there, including the washer. It comes with a washer. But this Baldwin filter feels a lot more robust, and I know that it's a metal end cap, right? Instead of paper, right? So I don't know. It's just one of those things. I mean, if you get a better filter, why wouldn't you, right? If you buy one of these or buy a Wix, I heard good things about Wix, and there's a channel called I think it's something City Wrencher or something. He pulls apart oil filter every week, and I saw him pull apart a Denso filter that is, and Denso makes the Toyota filters, and it's way more robust. Just looks way better than this. I mean, this is just, I don't know, like, why wouldn't Honda go for like just the, I mean, how much can end caps cost, right? Maybe it'll cost maybe like extra 50 cents, if that, maybe 10 cents, right? Why would they go with these type of relatively inexpensive parts, right? For every single car they make. That includes the Acuras, and includes the MDX Type S, includes your TLX Type S, not the NSX obviously, but every single engine they make, V6, inline four turbo, it comes like, recommends this filter. And I'm like, now I'm thinking maybe I don't know, they just sometimes some of the things that I've been dealing with Honda, especially with this engine with oil dilution, right, the 1.5T, makes me start to wondering what is going on with Honda. You know, I'm doing 5,000 kilometer oil changes now, so that should mitigate a lot of the risk in owning this car long term. Like I said, I'm smart enough to get 2 cars with the same engine, with the same oil dilution and issue, and I thought that I believed that Honda in 2019 implemented changes and fixes for this engine, and this is a 2022, so I thought, should be okay, right? Fuel economy and everything is great, so let's go for it, right? And yeah, I'm getting oil dilution, and I had to do a lot of things to mitigate the issue, right? As you guys can see in the other videos. Anyways, I will keep these. I'll pour this into the drain bucket. I'll keep this one as well, and when I do a comparison, I will have these all set aside to compare to the Baldwin filter and the Japanese OEM Honda filter. All right, so hope that was informative. If you guys found it interesting, please like and subscribe. Share the video for anyone that is interested as well. So I'll talk to you soon and have a great weekend. Take care.